That Writer Guy.
That Writer Guy.
That Writer Guy. Podcast with Lyman Rate.
Hello and welcome back to That Writer Guy podcast. I am your host, Lyman Rate, and today we are going to have a discussion about fonts and why they matter. The font you use in your book is more important than you think because it can make it easier or harder for your readers to read your book. Why do I say this? The right font can be easier on your reader's eyes and not cause what is called eye strain, which can lead to headaches. I, for one, would prefer to enjoy reading a book and not getting eye strain or headaches, but that's just me. But if you're like me, you probably would agree with that. Now, regarding your font, when you are writing your book or anything for that matter, you might find that the default font works best, and you would be correct to a degree. Microsoft Word and other programs use Calibri as a default sans serif font, which replaced Times New Roman. It's a universally readable font in most aspects. However, the most pleasing font to the eye is Helvetica. Not only is it the most widely used and popular, but is used in logo and graphic design as well as in website text. These two are the most commonly used and most widely popular fonts out there, but there are, of course, others and many more just like them. So I'm going to jump into book text next. Why the font matters is, as I mentioned before, eye strain, but also by using a font that is common in book text, it can give you a solid footing for your published works in regards to what is already published. The most commonly used book text fonts include the following. The Garamond font, which was developed in the 16th century by Parisian engrave Claude Garamond and is by far the most common of the book fonts. The Jensen font. This is one that is more recently known and added to the world of fonts, but it is based off a text face created by Nicholas Jensen in Venice around 1470 and was modified and redeveloped for Adobe systems. The Palatino font was released around 1949 to be used for headlines, advertisements, and invitations. However, has grown in popularity and thus tweaked to improve readability. This has helped its popularity grow even more. The Baskerville font was designed by John Baskerville in the 1750s and has been used in book font styles for a very long time and was changed to a digital font in the 1980s. What a lot of people don't know is that this font is classified as a transitional typeface. And the Minion font was also one that was developed for Adobe systems and, like most other readable fonts, was designed and created based off other classical styles of typeface. While there are many others, as I said before, these are 5 of the most commonly and widely used fonts in the writing community for internal book text. If we dive deeper into additional text for chapter titles, book covers, and other things, we'll find a plethora of options. But which one is right for us and what we are writing? The answer is usually a lot easier than you think, but it will require you to do some research. Research when writing is critical and crucial because without it, you can find yourself with something no one will want to read, let alone pick up and look at. Your font will determine, along with how you say the words, your cover, and a number of other factors, how successful your writing and your book will be. For cover text, one thing I can and will say is research what others are using. There are many ways to figure out and learn about text and fonts. One way I do it is I search various font websites and see what I like and dislike. If I can match them up with what I see on the bestseller or top 100 lists, great. If not, I'm not too worried much about it, but I keep looking. My focus is to find fonts that match or are very similar to what is out there now that is selling. If I can do that, then I can make things easier on myself when it comes to publishing. Another thing I do is search for what fonts work best for what genres. I will discuss fonts and languages and such in a much deeper discussion and series at another time in my podcast, but for now, keeping tabs on what works and what doesn't is vital to the font, and the market is constantly changing. Having a working knowledge of these fonts also allows you to work with your cover designer, if you have one, and letting them keep updated as to what is most popular. Now, the ironic thing is that when what works for you as an interior book font, the cover book font, or any other fonts might not work for someone else. The reason? No one is the same, and we all have our own personal tastes. Just make sure you do the research, take the time, give yourself some choices or options, maybe have some friends look them over, do a poll or something else, and then go from there. Or you might find that you find the perfect book cover font and the search is completely over. I personally use Garamond 12-point font for the interior of my books and then the book cover I pick, depending on the genre, the focus of the book or series, and if it fits the look of the cover and series as well. Then I use that same font for the entire series to give it a consistency all across every book. Don't be afraid to try different things though. You just might find the least expected combination actually works the best for you. And that is all the time I have on this subject today, and I do hope that you have enjoyed this episode and have found it helpful and informative. I've enjoyed my time, and I look forward to being with you on the next episode. But until then, if you've enjoyed this podcast or any previous episodes, I do ask that you please go to my Facebook page, give it a like and a follow, and you can comment or even message me, and I'll be more than happy to discuss whatever it is that you have messaged me about. That's everything for today. Until then, keep the words flowing, the ideas going, and happy writing.